Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka Hirsop and Stevie Nicol. Later on in the show, Luis and Robert will be here to look ahead to Barca against Atleti in La Liga. But we'll kick things off by reflecting on what happened in the top of the table clash yesterday in the Premier League. Of course, 1-1 between Chelsea and Arsenal, but it was the manner of the game, the feistiness of it, that certainly dominates the headlines. Sock it to him. Enzo sees red, Blue see red over cards. There are 7 yellow cards, of course, in total. 25 fouls between the two of them. Was almost like a South American feel to this tie. Chelsea won, though. Arsenal won is how it finishes. We welcome in Mario Malchiot. Mario was at the game. Mario, when did you know that this was going to be a feisty affair?
Friday.
As soon as they kicked off from the first minute. It was already heated, you know. Yeah. It was like it's kicked off already. The funny part was, prior to the game kicked off, I bumped into Reece James in the tunnel. And so he comes over, and the way I could see the stare in his eyes already that he was ready, he greeted me, he went back into the dressing room, and I knew, okay, let's see what's going to happen. They come out. Wow, they were ready. They were ready to... I felt like, okay, the red card, of course, they implemented a little bit more into the team, I think. And the way he played the game was like how... we experience, you know, all the guys sitting there experience a proper derby. Like, you really go at it and you show, like, as a captain, you got to set the tone and lead the team. And I think he did that from the first minute. A lot of fouls, but it's also the game needs that. Why do I say the game needs that? It's not that I want a game that people start kicking each other, but I like passion. When passion is on the field, I think you see that both teams want to win the game. And I think regardless if you had a red card, Chelsea still tried to win the game, and that was really impressive for me.
There was talk, Stevie, that maybe Arsenal fell into Chelsea's trap a little bit, and then they started to fight fire with fire instead of just sticking to their game. Is that a fair criticism?
No, not at all. I don't go with that whatsoever. Zero. I mean, what are you supposed to do when somebody's throwing the flames at you? You're supposed to just run away?
Right.
No, you've got to stand up for yourself. And that's what
So is that what you did like when Liverpool was so dominant back in the day?
Absolutely.
But how much does that not break up your flow a little bit, in the fact you're more interested in fighting than football?
No, because you've got to win the fight first. Once you win the fight, then you can play your football. Everybody tries to do it the other way around. But if you've got a team like Chelsea who are not going to stand by and let you play your football, and they're going to throw things at you, then you have to stand up and be strong, and that's what it was. And Caicedo was the only one that really stepped over the mark.
Okay.
Everybody else stood up and took the punches, basically. And as a player, you can't ask or accept anything other than that. I mean, it's one of the things I miss most about playing, the physical contact.
Kicking people.
No, I wouldn't put it that way. Just the physical contact. You know, sometimes you come out the injured one, but if you're smart, the majority of the time, you're the one that comes out.
So what was it about it? Like early on in the game, you know it's going to be the sort of tie for 90 minutes, and that would get you going.
Well, yeah. Well, you know it's coming for a period of time,
right?
Because when I was watching the game just before the red card, I'm thinking, who's going to flag first?
Okay.
Because the pace of the game was ferocious. The intensity was great. Everybody's getting smashed in, as you said. It was magic to watch. But I did wonder who was going to calm down or cool down or run out of steam first. In the end, you know, the game sort of, although it stayed intense, it did sort of cool down a little after the red card. So that took care of that.
It was intense, I think, is a good way to describe it.
I thought it was an outstanding game to watch, and credit to Chelsea, not just for the job they did with 10 men. I thought they dictated the pace, to your point, that the game, well, certainly would start with. And Arsenal had to match it. I'm fully with Stevie. You have to match. You have to win the fight before you can settle down and play the football. Now, there's one thing with a team lower down the table, playing at that tempo. If they don't have the quality, if they don't have the understanding of how to press, it's easy to pass through a team playing at tempo without any real structure. Chelsea are not. Chelsea, a lot of people are looking at the Sunderland performance against Arsenal and pointing to that as an example as to how to get the better of Arsenal. And with the greatest respect to Chelsea, you could see that, well, they were willing to take that physical step to Arsenal, but they just have far more quality than Sunderland. So they were able to play the football that you saw. They were able to press as high up, be as physical as they were, and be rewarded for it, even with 10 men on the park. I think the most amazing thing about the Chelsea performance for me is, if you'd asked me who was easily Chelsea's most important player in the build-up to this game, I'd have said Moses Caicedo, no question. Yet he's off after, 29 minutes. And there is no drop of quality, no drop of intensity from Chelsea with 10 men. And I think that speaks a lot to, one, the job that Reece James did in midfield, but two, and more to the point, the other 10 on the park, how they organized, the change at half-time. I thought seeing Chelsea manage, who I still believe are easily the best team in the league, in the way that they did with 10 men, was something to witness.
You think back to, about this time last season, Mario, we were talking about Chelsea doing well, top of the table. Maresca came out and said, wait, we are not title contenders. Has that narrative changed now, 12 months on?
No, because, I said it to myself. I said, this was not the season that I would look at them being title contenders. Why? Because of all the instability that they went through. So after the game, I spoke to him. This was one of the questions that I asked him. I said, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve now? He said, look, the players are really well. I like my team. We are full of talents in the team. I was happy with the game that we played today, and you saw it. I had real belief, because I asked him, I said, how could you go for a win when you are playing arguably against one of the best teams in your league and you still try to get your win? He goes, because I have real trust in those talents that I possess in my team. So he said, I knew we could win the game if it maybe got more to our side. He said, but we knew it was going to be tough. I'm not no disrespect to Arsenal, he said. He said, but I knew we could win it. But then also he highlighted and he said, look, I don't want to say that we can go for the title, because that is not fair. He said, but next season, I want to go for it. And then I said to him, yeah, you probably have to go for it. And he goes, yeah, we have to go for it next season. So this season doesn't see it like that, but you're still second in the league. And people are still going to watch you, or now third, but still people are going to watch you and say to you, look, hey, you're that high up, why don't you go all the way? And then Reece James goes, yeah, we want to win everything. But deep down, we know how he was last season too when he was high up. He kind of said that, but he meant different. In this way, I have no doubt that he will say, guys, if we can catch it, we'll take it.
What is that? What's that all about?
You tell me, is this mind games?
I sat here last year and he said the same thing. If I'm a Chelsea player, I don't want to hear it. How about, who gets to pick and choose what year they win the league?
Sure.
It's absolute nonsense. If you can produce...
Yeah, but Stevie, you don't think he's going to say that in the team? In the team, he doesn't say it.
Of course he has to.
We have the same with our coaches.
If you're Chelsea
only
players and you perform the way that you did, right, against Arsenal, that's what you're capable of. Why can't you try and play to that standard every time you get on the field? And if you do that, then you've got a chance of winning the league. So how about you be positive and just make sure that everybody has got the same standard. Now, the manager and the coach, whatever you like to call him, is going to know better than anybody else what he thinks his players are capable of over a certain period of time. But that's all good and well. But how about you positively tell them, hey, if you do this every time you step on the field, we can win this league. If you think they're ready or not,
I have no doubt he's telling them, Stevie. He's telling them that. You know that, Stevie. We played the game.
I actually don't, Mario.
You had the same thing.
I actually don't. I don't know that.
No, but I'm saying we had all coaches that sometimes said something else to the press, but in-house that said something totally different. And with him, I have that feeling. What he says to the press is different what he says to the team, because when he came out and he stood next, the way he was talking and the way he was acting, he didn't give me that feeling.
You're a Chelsea boy.
Yeah. You're right about that, but I'm just telling you.
You're in the house. Why would he not tell you? He knows you're part of the Chelsea family, basically. Why? If he doesn't want to tell the press or anybody else, that's fine.
He was interviewing him, to be fair, wasn't he? He wasn't like, he weren't having a cup of tea.
Yeah, the camera was on.
I didn't know he was interviewing him, but yeah, I don't believe that.
No, the camera was on. Sorry, the camera was on.
When the camera went off.
Yeah.
He's going, "Way, we're gonna win the league!"
Yeah, that's a difference.
The thing that got me going was when he said about, well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to mind was, hold on a second, you can't pick and choose when you win the Premier League.
So why one tone to the press and one tone in theory to players, Shaq? Why not come out and get the Chelsea supporters behind you, and instead of talking about next year, talk about this year?
Yeah, and listen,
We've already beaten Barcelona. We held Arsenal. You know, we're looking great.
I have no problem with to your phrasing, one tone to the press, one tone to the players. Certainly right now, in November, going into in early December, and it's still a 6-point gap. I think everybody still would make Arsenal as favourites to win the title right now. But I also think that this game changes the feeling, if not the rhetoric, around Chelsea. Because, as I said, coming into this game, I would have thought the one player Chelsea cannot do without is Moises Caicedo. And look what they performed. Now they have set their standard as to who they are, who they can be. And while 6 points right now feels like a lot, kind of given how consistent Arsenal may be, if Chelsea continue to produce these kinds of performances, in the league at least, they are probably better positioned, given that 90 minutes we saw from them, to run Arsenal down than Manchester City. That's given that 90 minutes. Now they've got to continue replicating that kind of form, that kind of performance. But even so, it's still a big ask. Right now, I have no issue with Maresca saying two different things to two different audiences, as long as what he's saying to the players is, listen, we can win this. We just have to keep showing up as we did today, and we can, at the very least, give them an almighty fright.
Liverpool won a game, and they did so without Mo Salah in the starting 11. There are 4 games now, Stevie, for Liverpool, between now and the African Cup of Nations. Do you play him at all in that period?
I don't know, but do you play him at all in that period? Do you play him the next game they play? I think that's more... Liverpool.
Do you start him?
Liverpool right now, I've got to go game to game.
Okay.
Right? And the first one was West Ham at the weekend.
And they won that.
Without Mo Salah.
Yep, so...
They had a better shape, everything was better, there was no drama. You have to play the next game exactly the same.
So no Salah. So we've got Sunderland on Wednesday, no Salah.
It's
the
not
results
about,
dictate that.
The thing is, it shouldn't be about... If Arne Slot is thinking about how do I get Salah in the team, then he's in the wrong job.
It's not a complicated question, though, is it? Does Salah start on Wednesday?
No.
Right.
Absolutely not.
And then does he start against Leeds?
It would depend on what happens against Sunderland. Inter, sorry. It depends.
Against Sunderland.
Sunderland, as I said, it's game to game. If they go out against Sunderland and are as organised the same, defend as well, don't give the opposition any chances, you keep going.
Right.
They're not in a position to try and look after one guy. Regardless of how good Salah's been for Liverpool, it's about the team. It's about the whole team and not any one guy.
So Stevie says no, don't play him until after the
that all depends on results. And
I never said don't play with him.
I know.
didn't say that.
Everybody knows that.
I feel like that's where you were going.
No, is that no?
That's where it was going.
Here's where I'm.
Never mind.
Here's where I'm going with this. It depends on results. Liverpool at home to Sunderland, they're very capable of winning that. You would think they win that, then you use the same starting 11 against Leeds. You win that, maybe you make a rotation with Inter in the Champions League in midweek, just so you keep the kind of same league team and some players get a rest. Listen, you've been struggling long enough, so maybe you rotate in midweek. But as long as Liverpool in the league keep winning with the team that he put out against West Ham, then there's absolutely no reason to change it.
Mario?
No, I totally agree. You know, look, what the guy said. Sometimes you can think about the momentum of the team. If the team keeps winning, you understand, without Salah starting, look, will I bring him on? Yeah, if the game asks for it, then I can bring him on and he can deliver the things. Yeah, then it's it. And what Stevie said, yeah, of course he's one of the greats at Liverpool, but it doesn't matter what situation they're in right now. They got to win. They got to make sure they bring the comfort back in that team. The team needs confidence. And the only way to do that is winning games. It's not going to be by taking care of people. You got to play to win all the time.
So it's been a tough start to the season for Liverpool. Not as bad, though, as Spurs. Another shocking performance for them, of course, this time at home against Fulham. Leaves them 12th in the table. Of course, some new faces, including the coach and some players brought in over the summer. They certainly haven't clicked yet. This is what Thomas Frank had to say about Xavi Simons.
Xavi here, I think he's a very good player in every aspect. Xavi have trained well the last couple of days, and in general training well. And I think also that, I think we talked about before, it's not the first time a player is stepping into the Premier League, and that just need a little bit of adaptation to hit the ground running. And then that's one thing in the physical league, but also to play games every third or fourth day. And then in a team that's maybe not top in sync, so how can we help each other? That's part of the process.
I don't know where to start on this, Mario. You spend a lot of money on a player, and Xavi Simons, you of course know well, and yet you're still waiting for him to adapt to the Premier League. It is December.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it. I think I saw an interview of him too. We understand, and you could feel that he knew that people are watching him like that. And I think the pressure is a little bit higher. He said, look, I played in the German league, and I know what the physical aspect is of the game. But I understand that from him. But the German league is not the same pace as the English league. And definitely not the Holland league, we cannot compare, because that's definitely not even the German league. So, and that he has to understand, because, you know, Ekitike came out and he said, he came out and he said, like, when I get the ball, I normally, when I was in Germany, I had a lot of time on the ball. Now, when I get the ball, I have no time at all. So if someone like that says it, then you also know what kind of level the speed difference is. Let's say it like that, because it's still, you know, you still have a Bayern that does great, and so that's why. But for him, for Xavi Simons, to do the things that I know he's good at, like dribbling, taking people on, taking the assist, the passing, and scoring goals, and arriving and being dangerous. The only way to do that for him is pick up with the rhythm that English is asking you. If he's not going to do that, he's always going to be the second guy arriving later, holding the ball too long instead of letting it go. We highlighted him before, you understand, in the sense of like, sometimes he holds on to the ball too long. And in England, you know, people love that. When they know you hold on to it too long, especially the ones that want to set the tone, they will tackle you so hard that they'll look at you and go like, okay, now you know, let it go.
Mario, is it harsh to say this is why he's ended up at Spurs? Because bigger teams would have looked at him and thought, we don't quite see him fitting in the Premier League.
No, I don't think so. No, I won't want to say that, because I still think Xavi's a great talent. And look, you're also talking about a player that comes from a great school like Barcelona, builds himself up. Okay, he maybe moved around a little bit, but where he is now, Xavi's focus needs to be, I need to be a star there now. To also take away the question that you just asked me. Take that away, then you'll be fine. If he doesn't take that away, then the question starts living and people start saying like, okay, you had some great clubs, but you didn't achieve the things that you should have achieved.
We're kind of talking in the same breath as Wirtz, aren't we?
Well, I think Wirtz obviously has got a higher standard, a higher bar.
Yeah, and that was going to be my point. Xavi, I guess my question is, what were we expecting from Xavi Simons?
Right.
Because if anybody watched the Bundesliga...
Not we. What was Spurs expecting? If you're outlaying this sort of money, then surely your scouts, you know, your recruitment should have seen this coming. No?
Yeah, well, we sat here at the start of the season and said the same thing. We were like, what are they expecting for this guy? Because this guy, if there's one thing you could say, all the good things he did in the Bundesliga were all sporadic. The one thing you couldn't talk about him in terms of was consistently good.
Yeah.
You look at Wirtz, 100% for Germany, for Leverkusen, consistently great. And then now we're wondering, when's it going to be the same for Liverpool? And all the things Mario was talking about, absolutely spot on about the difference in the pace of the game. I just don't get how people thought Xavi Simons was going to be any different than what he actually is producing right now.
I think the difference between Simons and Wirtz, at the very least, is physically. You look at, I always felt that Wirtz could stand up to the Premier League in terms of physicality. I always question that. about Xavi Simons. No, there are any number of small players who've come from different leagues and been successful in the Premier League. Those players, though, are technically excellent, which I'm not sure Xavi Simons falls into that category. In terms of that smaller stature, you question whether they can stand up to the league physicality. The first name that comes to mind, former Spurs player, in Luka Modric. Similarly small, and you wonder if he could take the baton, but he was just so good technically that it didn't matter the pace of the game, he stood out, and you see how his career has progressed since. I've never got the feeling that Xavi Simons technically was good enough for a player who lacked the physicality to be a success in the Premier League. So as much as Thomas Frank is talking about Xavi Simons and his quality, I'm not sure that he has the combination necessary to be a success.
Just a reminder, a lot more reflections on Spurs problems and everything else we've seen across the world of football over the weekend. Be sure to check out the latest edition of the Gab and Jules podcast. More drop points, of course, for Real Madrid in La Liga as they could only manage a 1-1 draw against struggling Girona. Marca, the Madrid-based newspaper, saying something isn't working. AS, meanwhile, saying without the leadership and in a mess. Speaking of mess, let's welcome in, shall we? Stuart Robson is with us from Barcelona. Luis Garcia is with us as well. Luis, what I thought was really striking about the coverage of this game is when you compare it to Real Madrid's struggles last season, it was all about the referees. Here's a picture of the referee's ex-girlfriend's second cousin removed in a Barcelona shirt, so therefore this referee's going to be against us. Or we didn't have 72 hours to prepare against Villarreal, for example. There don't seem to be these sort of excuses handed up, if you like, from the newspapers, from Real Madrid TV, from the media on side with the president, which makes me think that Xavi Alonso is in real trouble because there doesn't seem to be much support from those that you need that support from if you're a Real Madrid manager.
Yeah, exactly. I think you know a lot about that. You've been in that house and you know what it means when that sounds, that noise, it start happening around Xavi Alonso and the media. They have a few chances, but they couldn't get the second goal to get the 3 points. And when you get 3 in the last 3 games in La Liga, 3 draws, you are Real Madrid and you were at the top of the table, and now you are below Barcelona, and then you know that you are in trouble. So we'll have to wait and see if, what Real Madrid can do against Athletic Bilbao. You know there is always a very difficult pitch to go there and to try to make a good performance. But Xavi needs to do something and needs to do it quick, because if not, I'm not sure how much the crowd, I don't know how much Florentino and his board are willing to keep Xavi Alonso in as a coach.
Is it too big a job for him, Robbo?
At the moment, it looks like it is. I mean, he did a great job at Bayer Leverkusen, but he took Bayer Leverkusen from, I think it was 4th bottom of the table, and took them right to the very top. So he went in there where the players weren't happy what was happening before. He was able to reconstruct them. He was able to get them to play a certain style of football. He's going into a Real Madrid dressing room where there's big players, successful players, you know, players that think sometimes that they're better than they actually are, and they should be the leader of the pack. Now, that's a difficult thing to do when you've come in and you're taking over from somebody who was like Ancelotti. He's tried to change 1 or 2 things. It obviously hasn't worked for him. The players don't look particularly happy. He doesn't look particularly happy. And he's not the same manager on the side of the pitch as he was when he was manager of Bayer Leverkusen. I think he's lost his confidence. He's lost his ability to change things when he needs to. And I think he's lost the confidence in some of the players.
But Luis, he's been there. He's played for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, the biggest teams in the world. This shouldn't come as a surprise to him, should it, that you've got a dressing room full of egos?
Yeah, but it's totally different when you are into the dressing room as a player or as a coach. I mean, the spirit, the work, the way that you deal with the personalities and character inside the dressing room is totally different. And when you are in the other side, your background as a footballer is going to help you, of course. When you are a Leverkusen, people hear you out. They know that you've been with top managers in the world, so that you can pick from there. So they are willing to listen to you a little bit more, because they're coming from a background of no winning trophies, of not being challenging for the Bundesliga, the Champions League, the Europa League, or trophies like that. But when you arrive to Real Madrid dressing room, you know that it's totally different. All the players have 2, 3, 4 Champions League, they got leagues, they got World Cups. You got all kind of personalities with so much background that it's very difficult to try to make them understand that if they follow him, they're going to be more successful, because they have been already. They have been successful with Ancelotti, where they we didn't see the best football at all, but they got more freedom. The way that they were trained, it was more suitable for them, or at least that's what they thought. But Xavi Alonso is a manager that likes certain ways of doing things. He likes to train a certain way. He likes to manage a certain way, and sometimes that's not something not pleasant to some players. So I think he's doing a great job managing some of the personality and some of the noise that is happening. But of course, results are not helping him a lot.
So what do you do, Robert? You've got, what, one proper training session between the Athletic Club game. How do you handle that to try and get some sort of improvement from this side looking ahead to Wednesday?
Well, I'm not sure he can do it in one training session. He's already had a few months to get it right, and he hasn't been able to do that so far. And you can see he's still searching for the right combinations. He's still changing players' positions. He's still trying to work out a different formation. He's trying to get different players to do different things. And that's always a worry when you're a manager, when you're searching for things. If you change from week to week and you're trying to change players' positions, then you never get any sort of rhythm. But you're looking for something to click. One day when it might just click together, and then you can say, right, that's the way I want to play. That's the way the players are going to do it. Let's go from here. At the moment, that doesn't seem to be happening. Every week, he's looking at something different. Every week, it's not really clicking. So he's got a major, major problem going into this game.
More drop points to Real Madrid, of course, has opened the door for Barcelona to go top of the table. They've walked through it. They are 1 point clear. In fact, it's just 3 points to separate the top four, and it will be first against fourth tomorrow, live on ESPN+. Barca against Atletico Madrid. We'll be hearing from the boys, who, of course, are in Catalonia ahead of that game. But first, let's hear from Hansi Flick.
I think we make too many mistakes. So it's like that. Normally, we have the quality to also to control more the game. This is what I missed in the last game. So we have to increase this level, because we are able to do it. We have the quality to do it, and this is what I want to see. I'm really happy about my team. They're doing good. I know we are not top like last season. Of course, everyone normally wants to play on this level, but we have potential. And we have to increase our level, and this is what we want to do, and we work on that.
Boys, of course, you're in Barcelona ahead of this. Robbo, this game could go anywhere, couldn't it?
It could do. If you saw the games last season, I think it was 2 Copa del Rey semi-finals where they played against each other. They were great games where Atletico Madrid started off brilliantly, went 2-0 up, and it went to and fro. We saw the league game exactly the same. 2 years ago, it was a very poor game, and Barcelona won by 1-0. João Felix scored, but that was when Xavi was in charge. This could go absolutely anywhere. I mean, but what Hansi Flick said there, we haven't had controller games as we should. They've got Frankie de Jong probably back, and they've got Pedri back, and they've got Rafinha back. With those 3 players, I think they can control games more.
Make mistakes on the build-up, and then the opponent is ready to make those kind of transition, because you got that high line, so there is no space to press, and there is no space to try to regain the ball once again. So when you got Pedri, Frankie de Jong, players who know how to handle the ball, they lose no many during a whole game. That's when the control comes. For when you have the ball, don't miss it, don't lose it in the middle of the park. That is when you got more problems, and much more when you have to regain it. That leadership from Rafinha, I think, is going to be key. We saw it at the weekend. As soon as he's on the field, he's the first one making the challenge to the opponent, chasing the centre back, chasing the keeper, and that put in a lot of trouble to the opponent. And I think that's something that Barcelona was missing. I'm not saying that Rashford, when he was included, or Ferran Torres in outside, they were doing the job, but I think it's totally different the way that Rafinha commit himself to the job on there. So I think the key players for Barcelona to play against this Atletico de Madrid that comes in a fantastic moment. And well, let's don't forget that we put away Atletico Madrid not long ago, and now they are back into the La Liga race.
Calm down, Luis. Let's just take a look then, showing how the bookies have this game set. Barcelona are favourites. Atleti pretty much 3-1 a draw, 16th at 5. Shaka, what's your prediction for this?
Oh boy, I think Atleti win this. You know.
Do you think so, Shaka?
I do. I think I'm going to go 1-0. I think we.
Yeah, I think we'll win as well.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I always think Atletico, they get themselves in a good position. They've done it over the last 2 or 3 seasons. They get in a good position, and then blow it.
So you're going a Barcelona win?
Yeah, we won. Yeah.
Right. Well, he said we.
I said I'm Atletico.
I thought you said Barca.
No, I'm
he said
Atleti
he
this
said
week. I'm
Atletico.
Atleti this week.
Sorry, I'm with Luis.
Luis
Score?
2-1 Barcelona.
2-1. Luis?
I'm going with Steve 2-1. We think that Athletic Madrid is in a great moment right now. But I go for Barcelona 2-1.
Robbo, you've got no allegiance to anyone or anything.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. I'm going to go for I'm very positive. I hope it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go for a Barcelona win by 3-2, coming from behind. Maybe Atletico Madrid 2-0 up, and then Barcelona getting back into it and winning the game.
What a game live on ESPN+. Now, before we let you go, this is a really difficult subject to broach with you, Luis, but I'm going to do it. Do you hate dogs?
No, I don't. I didn't know that Sidlo was such a caring for dogs. So so it was a little bit awkward. But we handled it. We handled it the best we could. I didn't know that we were going to take a picture with the dog or anything. So I did my job. there.
Luis looks like he wants to be anywhere else. Near dogs.
Luis hates dogs more than Xhaka does goats, if you heard the story on Friday.
Now, if you haven't heard Xhaka's goat story, that is quite something. There we go. Thank you very much. Mario, where do you stand on dogs?
I love dogs.
Well, that's what most people do.
Yeah. You know, no, even as a young boy, I always wanted a dog, and my mom didn't allow it, but dogs always come to me, Dan. I'm so sorry, man. Dogs come to me, and I always pet them. So, Louis, man, come on, man. Grab the dog and hug him. Dogs are the best things you can trust.
Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much for your messages. Shaka is here. Steve is here. What are you laughing at? Mario joins us as well. Mario was in England for the Chelsea game and then pictured Nando's, which is a very popular restaurant in England, which you always do, Mario, when you're there.
I love a Nando's.
Nando's, what did they make?
Chicken.
Oh, you can't be the Nando's.
You have to go. You have to go. Stevie, you will not like it, but Shaka, I know you'll be going there, no problem.
Nando's knows me and Nando on a first name basis.
Me too, amen.
I mean, how can you mess up chicken? Even I've got to be able to eat chicken. What's he on about?
Well, it's not Eleanor's chicken.
No, but
That's
Stevie,
not,
this is another level.
It's another level which
Stevie,
you're not allowed
this is another
on.
level. Stevie, you know, when I go to Nando's, Steve, look, you know sometimes you go to restaurants, you don't want to lick your fingers. When you go to Nando's, I don't care who's watching me.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Licking the plate.
That's a good...
Okay, who's watching? I'm licking the plate.
Mario, who had the better 10-man performance? Chelsea against Arsenal or Everton versus Manchester United last week?
No, I say Chelsea. Because,
no, shut up. They can't beat Chelsea. Everton won.
No, but listen. This is, against Arsenal, a very, very good team. Yes, it took Chelsea 10 minutes before they start using their wingers because they're going to get them on the ball. But away from that, I still think it was a harder game because you're playing against Man United. Man United ain't Arsenal at this moment. So that's why I got to give it to Chelsea.
Former Chelsea player Mario Malchior.
I agree, Mario.
What?
I agree with Mario. I'll tell you why. After respective games, after Arsenal-Chelsea, we were full of praise for Chelsea's performance. After Everton-Man United, we were more critical of Man United. So it means Chelsea's performance was better. That one was more deserving of praise.
Yeah,
13 minutes. You're down to 10 men after 13 minutes and you win at Old Trafford against Manchester United.
This is great. I love when he does this. We get a question, right? And he's like, I know the answer. And then the three of us go, it's the opposite. And then he's starting to argue with you. Why are you wrong? Fantastic.
You argue with Mario. You argue with me.
Chelsea.
Come on.
Dan, it's not often you're wrong, but you're wrong again.
That's my hatred of Chelsea coming through.
Brilliant.
You drew at home.
Oh my God.
There you go.
He's not having it. He's still got it. He's got to think of something.
Dan, come on, this was a big game. You don't even know, man. Being in that stadium, the passion, everything about it. No, you're crazy. I was in London, I was enjoying myself.
I've got a question though. Did Mario just throw in a, I saw Rhys James in the tunnel.
Yes.
Just to let us know, hey everybody, I was in the tunnel, everybody.
Yeah, what were you doing in the tunnel, man?
I was in the tunnel,
No. It wasn't because of that. You know, Shaka. You know when you're before the game, like normally we have that real focus, right? And I didn't expect him. Like I'm standing on the side, like you don't want to talk to the guys when they do the warm up. I'm standing on the side. He walks back to come and say hi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're just about to go on the field. Why would you do that? It doesn't matter if you didn't do it. That's what I mean.
Wow.
You're a legend, Mario Melchior.
No.
That's what it is.
So we all agree Chelsea's the better of
Yeah,
the
we all
two.
agree.
Yes,
It's unanimous. It's unanimous.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. I only want to hear what Stevie says. Stevie, let me hear it. I didn't hear you say yes.
It begins with C and ends in
It's an E. Because of C and ends with E.
Oh my God.
Oh, more Chelsea. Where do Chelsea need to strengthen in January in order to challenge for the league title, Mario?
No, I don't think they strengthen. No, I think they got enough defenders. They got the midfield looks really good. I think they need to focus on staying fit. That's what they need because a fit Rhys James is clearly counting for more than one player. And when he's fit, there's a lot of good things to see. So no, I don't think. The only thing is like, okay, if it's worse to worse, they got 2 strikers. No, I don't see anything that they have to add. Just keep on winning. That's what they have to focus on.
I missed the question, Stephen. When you know an opposing player is on a yellow, is there anything wrong trying to draw a second yellow to get that player sent off?
No, absolutely
Everybody
not.
does it.
No.
You should do it. And if you don't,
Everybody does it.
if you don't, you're in the wrong profession. 100%.
Shaka, you agree, obviously?
of
Yes.
course.
Yeah, Mario?
If the right back is on a yellow card, everybody starts feeding the left wing of the ball.
Give him the ball.
Take him on because the right back can't fall.
Mario, you agree?
If you saw what Arteta said to Xhaka when Cucurella got the yellow card, he screamed to him, he said, get on the ball and run at him. But Cucurella also has the intelligence, so I was sitting close to the bench, so I could see him talking
All right,
to him.
Mario,
and
we
say,
know
"Get
you
on
were
the
there.
ball."
Blooming heck.
God, you're in the tunnel, you're up by the bench.
I was standing right in
Where
the
were you?
center circle. I was in the center circle.
There he is. He was there.
Guys,
eating his Nando's.
Hey, guys, wait. Do you want me to watch the game or you want me to look at the scoring board, what time it is now?
I'm surprised you never came on as a sub, to be honest with you.
I had my kid on, Stevie. I had my kid on. They said no.
About Kirkes not settling in as a big move, and have heard that Odegaard at Spurs is great in training, but worried about making mistakes in games. How often have panels played with someone who trains great but can't produce it games and have any turned it? Good. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there's been.
Oh, the fact that you read it as if that I didn't read it properly.
No, I was just trying to make some sense of it. I'm like,
I've had 2 or 3 guys that. Well, because there's no pressure on them. They can't. When there's no pressure on them, they just play.
So training is a fine example.
Training's completely different. There are days when it's intense because you need it to keep yourself sharp. But generally, everybody's like a step off.
Okay.
Most of the time. But when a game starts, a proper game, some guys just can't handle it.
Mario, do you agree? Did you play with people who are great in training but not on the pitch?
Oh my God! Oh man, we had some guys you had said like Birmingham. Sometimes you just train. You train like Stevie said. They all want to have the ball. Everybody wants to have the ball. But the moment when the heat comes in the team, oh my God! You blow the whistle, the referee kicks off, everybody goes missing. Nah, that was the worst. Oh, I hated it. I hated it. Sometimes on the training pitch I would just call. I say, why you guys ask for the ball?
At every level you play the game, you have those players.
Right.
Do you know the
I'm sure you found it at what school was it?
St Michael's School,
St.
under
Michael's.
11s. Yes.
I'm sure you found it at St. Michael's, Dan.
Well, I could never be accused of that. I would do it in training and on the pitch.
There are some guys that just can't handle the heat, right? But there are
Yeah.
Occasionally, there are guys who actually hide out the road.
Oh, okay.
You know, you can when you're playing with one of them, you can see it. You know, they'll just drift behind the opposition, so you can't give them the ball.
So when you coached, you must have seen that a lot as well from players.
No, they weren't that smart.
I like that.
Because and see, that's the craziest thing. You've actually got to be smart to do that.
Yeah.
So if you're that smart, why don't you do the opposite? It's the strangest thing, but yeah, I've played with a couple of guys that do that.
Stevie, what do you make of Spurs fans booing during home matches, and is Thomas Frank helping or hurting matters by speaking up about it?
I just don't agree with anybody booing one of their own. I just don't. I get why people would do it, but at the end of the day, I'm a fan. I would never do it.
Okay.
And I would hope that other fans wouldn't do it either. There's one thing to groan, and we all hear the groans. Somebody gives a poor pass, gives a ball away when he really shouldn't. To have a groan's fine, but to actually boo somebody, no.
Mario, you must have experienced, you mentioned Birmingham, obviously, when they were struggling, you must have experienced that then, the home fans booing you.
Yeah. No, definitely. I totally agree with Steve. I think that's just, you know, because sometimes it's the copycats, right? The ones that's sitting next to it is just booing because of the one next to him is booing, but not for the reason of that. But I think when you come to the football game, are you really coming to the football game trying to copy the guy that's sitting next to you or the lady that's sitting next to you? No. Watch the game and make your own adjustment. And being critical, I think this is what the game is all about. Hearing you criticize, yeah, that's fine. But booing, nah, don't waste your time on that. Just support the team, because that's why we run that hard and try to impress you.
Shaka, FIFA is currently testing the 2-minute suspension rule at the Arab Cup for time-wasting injuries. Do you think this could work in the future as a permanent law? Do you want to know the rule, Shaka? I have it here. I have the rule here. Would you like me to read it to you? The rule requires any player who receives medical attention on the pitch to leave the field for 2 minutes, leaving his team temporarily with 10 players. If the injury is serious and the player cannot continue, the team can make a substitution. If the opponent who caused the incident is booked or sent off, the injured player does not need to leave for 2 minutes.
I'm not sure I see the full point behind it. So you could just say if the player on the field requires treatment and the game stops, you have to go off until the referee motions you back on, which, you know, the referee could take his time in doing that. He could wait for the ball to go out to play. It could be more than 2 minutes. So I think they're complicating it in a way that it doesn't necessarily have to be. Or maybe a happy compromise would be kind of like in basketball. You know me on basketball, Dan.
I know you're a big basketball fan.
You can't call a timeout unless you're in possession of the ball. So if you say something like the player can't come on unless the ball goes out in your favor or something of the sort, I think that's a better kind of compromise. I don't understand this. Well, you have to wait 2 minutes thing. I don't understand that.
Do you want me to read the rule to you again, Stevie?
Gal, just leave the game alone.
Leave it. Does Dan backseat drive when you are driving him? I can't drive at the moment, so the boys have been bringing me in.
Let me see. Dan complains about the temperature in my car, right? Listen to this.
It's really hot, Stevie.
No, Stevie, listen to this. Listen to this. Hold on.
Really hot.
Listen to this. I pick him up Saturday, driving in, right? He's got his winter coat on.
Well, good. What?
No, mind you, let me tell my story.
Was this the first time you picked him up?
On Saturday.
Yes.
Right? So, of course, you know, I mean, you can control the temperature on your side, I can control the temperature on my side. Yep. He's complaining all the way in from his house to here. He's got his winter coat on and the temperature on high on his side.
I didn't know it was high, did I? I didn't know it was a dual job.
I'm on my side, I'm on 72, I'm thinking, Jesus. There's a warm front coming from over there. There's a warm front coming. And he's sitting there with his winter coat going, oh man, this car's so hot. This car's so...
Yeah, it's nothing to do with you.
Thank 100%.
You.
That's why I've lost so much weight.
You have enough time to be acting like an old man. You're not an old man yet, Dan. Don't worry about that.
Hey, don't worry about that,
Sit, relax.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a young man still. Enjoy yourself.
Yep.
Don't worry about that.
Stevie gave me
Let
a
other people do
lift
that.
home last week, and I was like this when he goes, oh, this isn't the best way to go. It's like 15 years. That is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. Chelsea fans, I look forward to hearing from you. That'd be lovely. ESPN FC returns tomorrow. Barcelona, of course, in action against Atletico Madrid. We'll be reflecting on that, plus some rubbish Premier League games.